Okay, now we'll talk about the Housing Australia Fund, which I find really interesting because I've been in property finance all my life, with 48 years with banking and property investment funds. I just find it amazing that the Australian public has accepted that there's a $10 billion housing fund, but it's only bought not many houses, a few hundred. Not even sure they've been occupied when I was watching the Senate inquiry. And they used strange wording at the Senate inquiry. They've acquired. When the senator was asking how many have you built, they kept saying they've acquired. What does that mean? But it's interesting that they haven't actually invested the $10 billion in building houses. It's invested in the stock market, and they invest the returns, 500 million a year or something, in grants. Well, that's not building houses. If the 10 billion's invested in the stock market, then it's making money for stockbrokers in fees and commissions. Big corporations again, or the banks. If the money's invested with the banks and the banks invest in the stock market, the banks get a fee. Why? If the government was really intent on building houses, then the 10 billion should be invested in housing, building them. You know, give money to developers, or give them guarantees, or otherwise, to build the houses, the developers have to go and borrow the money from the bank and then get the money back from the housing fund at the end. Well, that's not helping the economy either. You know, by giving the builders money to build houses, the builders have work, the materials get bought, the money's in the economy. Right now it's not, it's in the stock market. It's not helping Australians, everyday Australians. There's 120,000 families don't have a home. That's outrageous for the lucky country. $10 billion. The other thing they could do, they could split it in half. They should be investing the money straight into the building industry to build the houses. Say the other half, they could give direct mortgage relief. You know, if someone, say, has a mortgage for $1 million with a bank and they can't afford to pay it, then the government, the housing fund, could give a mortgage of 500,000, leave 500,000 with the bank, and the government funds half, gets a lower preferred interest rate, so it gives relief directly to the homeowner. This is helping Australians, helping citizens buy homes and keep their homes. From what I see of the current structure, it's not doing that. It's not helping the economy, and it's not helping homeowners. They make it sound like it is, but actually it's not, because it's not invested in housing, it's invested in the stock market or wherever they've got it invested. And that was obvious from the Senate inquiry, because it's been operating for 2.5 or 3 years now, and they have hardly any houses at all. So, is it a scam? It's an oversell, and they're not actually doing what they say they're doing. You know, if I ran mortgage funds, I ran property funds. Those funds actually buy the real estate or build the real estate. They don't go and invest in the stock market and get someone else to build it. It doesn't work like that. If the money was 10 billion was invested in building houses and direct mortgage relief, people would get a direct benefit in their pocket immediately. The way it is now, I would be surprised if they ever buy any more houses. So then they've wasted the opportunity. And Australians, more and more Australians go homeless. That's not right. It's government overreach and it's political doublespeak about how they're helping the economy. It's all talk and incorrect action. So have a think about that. Leave a few comments. Thank you.